because it's going to be a live board. Chasing Scotty with Scotty, in my opinion.
So Rory has no chance, according to you.
No, I love Rory. I'm live, no. I'm not full live bot. I love Rory. The chutzpah.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog Fantasy. PGA Championship Picks, bets, one and done. Maybe a little bit of talk about Rory and his nuclear back nine, or old Gagatha Christie. Although Xander didn't really gag it at the Wells Fargo. He just got caught by Rory, who had one of those things where he played the 9-hole stretch. He has it like 3 times a year where he's absolutely unbeatable. And you're like, oh yeah, that guy should win every tournament. But then he doesn't do it again. You're like, oh yeah, of course. Rory pulling a Rory. Anyway, smash a like to the episode while you are here. Sub to Mayo Media Network. Share the wealth of the show around. And I'm doing a big giveaway this week. $500 cash, 2 Fantasy National annual memberships, and a month to shipitnation.com. The main way to get ballots in the draw, use code MAYO at Underdog Fantasy right now. That helps support this show. Additionally, you can have a bonus of up to $250 on a first-time deposit at Underdog Fantasy. Plus, you will get a free square for the PGA Championship. So even if you put in $10, you turn the 10 into 20, turn that 20 into more with the free square, and boom, you're off to the races on Underdog Fantasy, and we will be doing a ton of content this week across everything, the betting, the daily fantasy, some pick'em games, and we're going to be doing the Cut Sweat live, probably 4 p.m. Eastern time on Friday with myself and Jeff and Tim Andercust.
Tim Andercust.
That is not my name.
Will you be there for the Cut Sweat, or do you have prior engagements?
No, I plan to be there. But I mean, I have various demands that I will make before I will come on. I want a brand new Apple Watch.
Is yours broke?
No, but these are the things I demand. I'm also going to ask you to divest from all usage of the name Cust. These are my demands.
Nah, we'll just get someone to play.
I don't care that I have no leverage.
Well, let's get someone to play on the show. It's not that big of a deal. Jeff, are you excited for this PGA Championship? Because I am. I love how all the big names are coalescing all at the same time.
Well, he's not, because he doesn't think it's a major.
I mean, is your name Jeff? When I ask Jeff a question, is your name Jeff?
I got ahead of that last week because I knew Tim was going to come with that. He can be the biggest live golf fan, but I'm not allowed to change my opinion on the PGA Championship and how great it's been since the move. I'm not relitigating it. Our audience knows. Congrats to Tim. You were right 8 years ago. I was wrong.
Thank you.
But I changed my opinion 6 years ago, and you've still been yelling at me about it.
Sounds about right.
I'm excited. This is a buckle the fuck up situation, Pat. Rory and Scotty are off 2 wins. Rory off a 1.5. Brooks is off the win. This is setting up to be magical. It really is. What a great week of golf we're in store for. And I have no doubts. I'm not even talking about Ludwig, but I'm confident we're going to get some young brick shithouse in the mix too. Mito styles. I don't think we're going in a creek on 18, but I think this course will set up for it. But what we were asking for earlier, when all these first time winners and Dunlop and all this crap, we're what golf needs is it stars to be stars. And that's where we are entering this week. So I'm fired up. Like you, Pat, I think we have our children have birthdays on the same day this weekend. So I don't know how that's going to navigate, but moving day could be a situation.
Yeah, we have the actual birthday is on the Saturday, so we're having the family birthday on Saturday, and then his actual birthday is going to be on the Sunday. So I'm going to have to connect my Wi-Fi to my iPad and bring it around with me at a children's party. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Tim, you are here to give out your 3 picks as you normally do for the PGA Championship, but I did want to ask you, did you light a fire under Rory?
Maybe I did by dismissing his half win, quote unquote, at Zurich and complaining about him. Maybe it did. I don't know. It was good for him. He played great. He should be able to play great. I don't know what else to say. I'm very excited for this tournament, I have to say.
All right, well, let's not leave the people waiting. Who are you picking to win the PGA Championship?
Okay, so my review of this course, I think there's only two things that matter to me: driving distance and how you score on the par fives. If you tell me the final score of everybody's par five play this week, I'll tell you who won the PGA Championship. I think it's going to be that simple. There's only two things I care about, really. And so I also am of the opinion that if you made a course in a laboratory for the live golfers, this would be it. I think it's a great course for almost all of them, minus one or two. With that said, my first pick is Burmeister.
Okay.
He's my bronze pick.
I like it.
Hits it long. He's been playing good golf. He bombs it. I think he's going to be very well suited to putting up eagles on this golf course. And for these guys that I'm picking, the 18th hole is a par 4 for them. It's not a par 5. They're going to eat it alive. I really like their chances this week. Number 2, I'm taking Dustin. Dustin, again, long, straight hitter. I expect him to eat the par 5s alive here. And I'm going to take Bryson to win this thing. He's my last pick. Again, he's the longest hitter on the golf course, and he should be able to overpower this. The last time they played on bent grass greens, Bryson, competed. He was the first round leader. He putted great on Thursday. His putting escaped him a little bit on Saturday, but nonetheless, I think this is a perfect Bryson course, where if it comes down to who can overpower a course, nobody can overpower it like Bryson. So those are my 3 picks.
I like your picks.
Yeah. I'm not a live bot, nor is Pat. You might think I'm going to be one this week. You look at this course, I think Tim is right. I think it just sets up beautifully. I think there's a situation where the joke is going to be low-hanging fruit on Sunday night that we're going to have to call it the Live Championship with PGA players invited. I don't hate any of those picks at all. Good thing if you are on one of those guys like I might be, Tim's a big game hunter. Tim plays in the big games, shows up.
Yeah. Look at 2014 and what mattered, right? Why was it that Dubuisson and Byrne and Rory and Ricky and Phil were able to compete there? They drove the ball great and they scored like crazy on the par 5s. Those are the only things that matter to me.
There were a lot of plotters on that leaderboard, though.
What's that?
I think Stricker went nuts on the green, but he doesn't hit the ball long.
So
somebody's going to do that this week too.
Hold on. Are you just parroting what I told? Did you just watch my research show this morning and then parrot everything back?
No.
Are you sure?
No. These are the things that I was looking at to prepare. Mm-hmm. I want to be good for the show.
Mm-hmm. So you watched the research show.
No, I didn't watch a research show.
There is no chance that you knew.
Sunday, I got stuff to watch.
You knew what Stricker did. That came out of your mind.
Yeah, because I looked up who did well in 2014, and I remember that how else could Stricker be good? He doesn't hit the ball great. He had to have putted great.
Purick also did well.
Yeah, he did.
I'm sure he did the exact same thing.
It's putting and irons. Yeah, all the short hitters just gained in an immeasurable amount. It was actually measurable because I can look at the numbers, but yeah, they were all. Stricker was, I think, 3rd in approach play and 1st in putting, or 2nd in putting. That's how he put it together. He actually lost off the tee. Even his accuracy wasn't all good that year. But Tim's right. It is a bomber's track, although the grass is different this time around. The bent grass for the greens is still around, but it's now Zoysia grass, Jeff, as the fairway. So it's going to play theoretically firm and faster, but it looks like there's rain in the forecast on Wednesday to soften the course up a bit. Then we got rain on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thursday actually seems to be okay, but then the wind is super down. So if you're going to bet like a lowest score of the week, Thursday might be the day.
Great. All the more reason I want distance.
That'd be my thoughts as well. I go back to some of those other players, dancing around Morikawa, but in the end, I'm just want guys that are going to eat with driver and get hot with the putter. Although the greens are really small, scrambling might be way more important than it's a major. It's always important. You're going to have to make big ones to win when you're contending on the weekend. But, yeah, I don't know. Greens are smaller than I remember. I don't even know if that was renovation based.
It wasn't. It was the same green complexes we saw in 2014. They're 5,000 square feet, which makes them the third smallest on the PGA Tour this season. Only Harbour Town is smaller, and Pebble Beach has been smaller. And with the new Zoysia grass, there's more runoff areas, so you're not going to get the ball hanging up a little bit like it did on Bent. They're going to go full all the way down the hill. I don't know if it's going to play out this way, Tim, but I would guess that the around the green is somewhat reminiscent of what we saw at Southern Hills.
I would agree with that, which means I think you can write certain guys off, like Victor, for example. I think you can write him off.
Victor finally pulled together a ball striking week last week, Jeff, at Wells Fargo. Couldn't chip, couldn't putt. Although the putter's not usually a problem with him, but it was nice to see that the driving and the irons were back. His Sunday in particular was really good.
Yeah. What did he gain? Over 3.5 strokes yesterday. That was encouraging. There's a lot of dangerous signs there, though. And I don't know that you can win this sucker without life. But that almost becomes a live debate. And like, what do I make of 8th place on live? What do I make of 10th place on live? I respect winning on live, but I don't know what 8th place means. I really don't.
I saw you getting in the weeds, Jeff, about Scotty Scheffler and the baby. It appears like they had the baby?
Yeah, by all accounts, it seems like they've had the baby, and everyone in golf media knows this, knew this about a week ago, at least a week ago, around a week ago. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really. I mean, for such a low key guy, like I understand the privacy aspect, but it's not like there's paparazzi. It's not like people actually want pictures of the baby. Like, part of being low key is kind of just saying, "Hey, we had the baby." So I don't understand, and I'll feel really dumb, or knock on wood, if there's an issue with anybody involved. You hope mommy and baby are doing great. That's all that matters. I have 3 kids. I swear to God, the thought of something going wrong in there, I don't have many fears in life other than I don't like scary movies. But I'm happy to be out of that stage, because that was my biggest fear in life, and that's gone. And I'm, the snip is coming before any chance of child 4. So it's not a worry I'm going to have again. But yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand why there needs to be this level, I don't know, of secrecy around it. We don't even need the name. I don't even give a shit. I don't even think people care. I don't even care about the sex, the name, any of it. Those are nice things, but I don't know, just say you had the baby. Golf media made such a big deal about it all during Masters week. Now it's this huge privacy thing. Lucas Glover's wife beating him up wasn't that you didn't keep private.
Tim, what did you make of? I assume you saw Brandel Chambly's comments this weekend towards Liv and Anthony Kim in particular. Then him and Anthony Kim got into it. Then Phil responded. It was just weird drama for a guy who's going to be doing this broadcast, I believe.
U.S. Open, not this.
Oh, U.S. Open.
No. This is Nansen Immelman. Gee, what a shock that Brandel Chambly has opinions. I don't take him seriously, so I don't know why anybody else needs to take him seriously.
Well, it seems like they did take him seriously, because he was getting into a fight with golfers on live who were responding to him.
Well, I can't wait to see how he covers the U.S. Open, because Pinehurst is also a great live track. And we'll see how he handles live players playing really well there, and whether he can be just an analyst or whether he has to, shill for the PGA.
I'd be curious to know what goes into that. We're into the Trevor Immelman experience a little bit now. What has it been, 3-4 years, Jeff?
Probably about that, maybe more.
Yeah.
No, not more than that.
How do you
3-4 years?
Yeah,
at least.
How do you feel about it?
I don't have any issues, but our floor is so low. So I don't really know, but he doesn't bother me. A lot of the dumb stuff that gets said nowadays, it doesn't even register. I'm excited for Luke Donald, though. I hope he's the big winner. And I think the Ryder Cup captaincies will sort of give him elevated his profile so high that I think he's going to be the winner in the end. I hope. Although Kisner might realize he's got to stop trying to golf and just accept the job that could have already been offered.
Yeah, but if he gets himself into these elevated events with the sponsors' exemptions, it's probably more lucrative for him just to come 50th in those than actually be the broadcaster.
Which one, Donald or Kisner? Who's more likely to get these exemptions?
Kisner seems to get the exemptions. Donald doesn't.
Yeah, I guess he's older. He's probably past that. But we usually see the captains get to do a lap of events, right? Like that, like they're handed exemptions, I feel.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Tim, there is an ESPN Plus feed this week that is a, quote, gambling-only feed for the PGA Championship. Now, I'm excited about this idea. I very much worry about the execution of it. Would you have any interest in watching anything like that?
Not really. I'd rather just watch the main coverage, but I understand completely why other people would have interest in it if it's done well. I don't have an objection to it existing. That's not what I'm interested in watching. I'd rather watch the main broadcast.
What do you make of it, Geoff? Do you think they'll execute it? Because I have very low hopes that it's going to be any good.
Yeah, they'll get caught trying to like coddle newbies and annoy like actual gamblers, I feel. And yeah, great idea. Execution's going to probably be rough, but it's also the first one. So don't totally want to judge it on that. They're essentially going to try to build the plane and fly it at the same time. And that's something that you do in TV. And as a secondary stream, people who are watching that are probably more accepting of like visual or technical errors. But what they won't be accepting of is like hardcores won't be accepting of like vocabulary errors.
And I don't think that's going to be the problem, because I think our guy Fortenbaugh is one of the people doing it. I think it's the ESPN bet crew. But the one thing that I noticed, they didn't bring in golf-specific people for it. They did bring in people who talk about betting all the time, so I think that's really helpful. But I also think Michael Collins is a part of the broadcast, and he's going to be walking with a group. So in my mind, what I think is actually going to happen here is just going to be they're going to follow around a group and like make bets on a group all day, which is not compelling at all for a broadcast.
Yeah, not compelling, but again, they're going to fly that plane for the first time. I like Joe. I like Joe a lot. I've known Joe for a long time. Joe's in a weird spot where, you know, working a news agency being a sports book, I think is going to be a weird thing, but they'll dance around it. Not necessarily for the golf, but, you know, making Justin Herbert 6-1 to, the Chargers 6-1 to draft a quarterback in the first round.
So Tim, I need your three guys who cannot win this week, because that's what people really want to know.
Well, I gave you one already. One is Victor. I don't think he's got much of a chance. I just don't think his game is suited to this track. I'm going to give you Cameron Smith too, because again, it's length. Much as I like Cam Smith, he's going to win Opens. He's not going to win a normal PGA Championship. And then for the third one, I kind of want. There's a few people I don't like, but who do I want to say can't win?
Biggest name possible.
I guess I'll write off Minwoo Lee.
Okay.
Let's go. Okay. I said biggest name possible. Who else were you debating?
Well, him and Cameron Young are on my list of people that I'm rooting against this week.
Why are hold on. Why are you rooting against Cameron Young?
I'm tired of the whole, he plays so great in majors. Like, okay, he's played good in a couple of majors. That doesn't make him a majors expert. He hasn't won a major. He hasn't been in the last group on a Sunday in a major. Let's temper those expectations a little bit. That's kind of silly.
I mean,
you're being unfair.
Yeah, a couple majors is he's played in 8 majors in his life. He's come inside the top 10 in 5 of them. He's basically Xander.
So he doesn't win.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Unless it's the Olympics, he doesn't win. So I don't think he's got much of a chance to win.
Okay,
he's still a puppy.
Minwoo, I just think there's too much talent at the top of the board that Minwoo's not going to be able to win out. I think
why Minwoo? Why do you want to cheer against Minwoo? Like, what is that about? You're like, as you were debating that, you're like, there's guys I don't like, and you picked Minwoo Lee
for this tournament. I don't like for this tournament.
But this is a driving distance one. You said driving distance means the most.
Yeah, but I don't want him to be the person who breaks out. I don't want him to win this thing. I want a live guy to win this thing.
I get
so
that, but
afraid of Minwoo Lee?
Yeah, so you're terrified of Minwoo?
I'm concerned. This is why I don't want him to win.
Well, that wasn't the question.
Well, you know what? I gave the answer I wanted to give, which is I don't want Minwoo Lee to do well.
No, but you gave the answer. Pat's like, who's not like it contradicts your reasons for why. Whatever, it's your list. It's just a weird. He's so good, and you're worried about him. Therefore, you're picking him as the number one choice.
Not a number one. I believe is the last name I gave.
Okay.
So to recap your picks about who can and cannot win the PGA Championship, Bryson, DJ, Burmeister are your top 3 picks to win. The can't win, Victor number 1, Cam Smith number 2, and Min Lee, the driving distance phenom number 3. Those are your picks?
Those are my picks.
Right.
With an asterisk on Cam Young can't win.
Yeah, so an additional. So just 4 players who can't win. Although I think there's a lot of people who regularly bet on Cam Young, myself included, that would probably agree that he can't win.
Yes, it's true.
And I like DJ first round leader.
DJ is interesting, only because he won in Vegas in, I think, the beginning of February on Live, and he really hasn't done much since. It's been weird. But just he's the kind of guy who can pop up out of nowhere, get everything together on the same page. And as you mentioned, this is a great course for him.
Yeah, it's a great course for not just him, but players who play similarly to him, who are just bomb hitters. I'm excited. This is a great spot for the Live guys to prove themselves.
What are your
Because
thoughts
they
on
should
Rob?
dominate at this course. I don't hate his chances. The same as Brooks. I don't hate their chances. I'm just not as enthused about them as I am about the guys who just hit it longer. But none of this may matter because, like, 1 every 3 times this thing is played, Scheffler wins it. So we very well may be in one of those spots. So it's kind of maybe not matter.
It's tough to win 2 majors in a row. Even the very, very... What was the last time someone won 2 majors in a row, Jeff? Spieth in 2016?
Podrick Harrington?
No, that was 20 years ago. Spieth won the Masters and U.S. Open back-to-back. That was, 2015?
Yes, he did. Yes, that's right. That's right.
So it's been almost a decade since someone's done it. So I guess, the law of averages, someone is going to do it sometime soon. Actually, no, Rory. I know, because Rory did it. Did Rory do it? No, I can't remember. Did he win
He won the Open and the PGA. Were those back to back?
Yeah, but that was in 2014.
Yeah, that was here.
This was in 2015.
Yeah, so those are the last 2 guys to do it. Harrington did it before that. So, I mean, it would make sense that Scheffler would do it. But it's just funny that, he comes in with no finish worse than second since God knows when, since before Bay Hill. I think it was actually at Riv was the last time he didn't come inside the top 2, and he wins most of those tournaments. But now you have Brooks coming off a
If he wins...
Go ahead.
If he wins, what's he at Pinehurst? What's he at Pinehurst if he wins? Plus 150?
No. They just won't make him that because no
Plus
one...
200 is the longest.
I mean, he's plus 450 right now after some of the resets. I mean, he's going to be 3-1 at some places, 4.5 at some places, 3.5 at some places, as high as 5-1. But a lot of that right now in terms of the betting odds has to do with Rory coming in, winning the team event, and then running train on everyone Sunday at an elevated event, which people watch. Granted, Scheffler was not there. As Rory pointed out in his post-round interview after the 3rd round, he's like, yeah, it's great and everything. Scotty's not here to run us down. So it makes it a little bit more easy. People are genuinely sweating this guy right now. So maybe that's an advantage for the Live players that they just don't have to deal with Scheffler on a weekly basis. I mean, that was always the Tiger thing, wasn't it? That everyone knew in the back of their minds, like, oh God, Tiger's around. Like, he's just going to do something and beat us. It feels that way with Scheffler right now for the PGA Tour guys. That maybe you stacking up all the Live guys, they don't have that experience with him. Like the last time, Brooks and Scheffler were really into it in the end. Brooks won the PGA Championship last year, and Scheffler came in second.
Yeah, but then he also chased Bryson down. So at the Masters,
I mean, he didn't really chase Bryson down. He chased like Højgaard down in Homa. Bryson chipped the moment Bryson chipped the ball into the water on 15 on Saturday, he was toast.
Yeah, so
that's fair.
I guess the Live guys are an NFC team who don't have to play Mahomes very often. And I think, oh, maybe we can beat this guy. I don't know. Scheffler. He's. I don't think
if he wins this week, you might as well just only bet him at the U.S. Open. It's a waste to bet anybody else if he wins this week. It's over. It's
funny because Pinehurst, I do think, is a much better course. Not that there's any course that's not good for Scheffler, but if you were just to rate which are the best Scheffler courses between Valhalla and Pinehurst is way better for Scheffler than this place.
I agree.
Just his
I mean,
accuracy.
he's kind of
is-
course proof.
No, I understand that, but if you just had to pick one, like not only what suits what Scotty does really well, but what is also a huge disadvantage to a lot of the top end players that are like within his like stratosphere, if there's anyone in his stratosphere at the moment, and just Pinehurst kind of separates that out. Like, I don't think that Pinehurst is a great Rory course, for example.
Those are all, that's fair. Pinehurst probably isn't a great Rory course. The problem with Scheffler is even if he starts slow, he's got to be dead. And I don't think he could possibly start slow enough to be dead. Like, he'll just linger and then he's going to attack. It's I accept. Will I be over-invested on a major tournament? Yeah, that's my favorite hobby. Good hobbies should be expensive. That's how I look at it. That being said, I don't know. Like, even if he double bogeyed the first hole, he'd still be 5-1 or 6-1. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
And even if he's a little sluggish, which I don't really believe he'll be, because Meredith's a killer. Like, these wives, they're killers. She wants that trophy. Okay. She's making sure he's going to go, like, you'll not. Okay. He can sleep in the West Wing. And when he gets away and he's just in a rental house with his team, it's going to be nice. Like, it'll take him one night of beautiful rest. He'll be great. He will be great. But if there's ever a chance he could get got, this is it. That being said, I didn't think he could win. Not that I didn't think he could win after the Masters. Like, to me, winning after you won the Masters, even at a player of that level, is such an insane accomplishment that I think that's a bigger accomplishment than winning post 10 days, 14 days of a baby. Really do.
So are you going to have some Scheffler insurance just to be safe?
No, I don't bet. I don't have insurance. No insurance. I got a future card and I'm looking to eat at like a couple guys, 20, 30, and then talk me into like a bomb. But I'll tell you this, like, just as a Paul, who did you bet to win the Super Bowl? You had a future. You probably had Buffalo Bills. I had the Green Bay Packers. When the Super Bowl got here and you didn't have a bet, did you not bet the Super Bowl because you bet 3 teams that didn't make it? No. I'm not letting no Victor Hovland, 27-1 loser, stop me from still betting the goddamn PGA Championship. Like, that feels like it was a lost football bet. Like, it's just gone. It's dead. It's dead. So I don't give a shit.
Paul,
It'd be great if he was awesome.
For the record, I never bet Bills to win the Super Bowl because I've been hurt too many times.
I'm just saying, you don't bet futures and then, the Super Bowl. I don't know. My futures are good. I'm not betting the Super Bowl. Fuck that. Nope.
well, Tim, we will see and hear from you on Wednesday evening for the NFL schedule release show.
Can't wait.
Jeff, did you know that the New York Jets are 5th in the AFC East in terms of overall AFC East titles, a division with 4 teams?
I was wondering how that was going to work. I didn't know that.
Anyway,
Whatever. I'm not living in the past like you.
Who's
But
living in the past?
all you do is live in the past. That's your whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see this year.
How many how many of those jams did you steal from breakfast on Saturday?
I didn't take any jams
Oh, really? How come?
because you shamed me.
Yeah, you should be shamed. So you're just not going to restaurants and stealing all their things now? That's progress.
It's not stealing. No, it's not like that Sopranos scene where they're all stuffing the stuff into their purses.
I mean, did you put it into your purse?
No, I don't have a purse.
You seem like the type who would have a purse. You had that money belt that time.
No, I carry a money belt when I'm abroad, but I don't wear a purse.
You could use a purse. Very Euro of you. You could have a purse.
Like Jerry.
Yeah, exactly. So that is the intro to the PGA Championship. I want to thank Tim Andercust.
Tim Andercust.
And yes, That is his name. Catch us again Wednesday evening live, probably, on Mayo Media Network for this NFL schedule release show, but tons more content coming, plus all those giveaways. $500 cash, 2 memberships to fantasynational.com. If you just want 20% off at fantasynational.com right now, go to fantasynational.com/Mayo. Get yourself in for the PGA Championship. We got all the tools, the brand new leaderboard app, and even if you are an existing Fantasy National member, you can still win this and just get the next year free. Honest, from this point to this point next year, boom, you get upgraded to a free membership plus Ship It Nation for a month as well. You can do all of that. Find all of the info down in the description. But code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy is the big thing to do. And Jeff, we're going to be in Montreal for the President's Cup. Cust is going to be there. Kenny's going to be there. I think Byron is going to be there as well, trying to convince Cam to come up. And by using code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy, that means we can do more content, maybe even a giant meet and greet if people come.
Use the promo code Mayo. That'd be awesome. I'd love to get Cam there.
Well, we were thinking if we can get Cam there, and even so, maybe we do a live show and do a live Cust Corner or something like that.
Yes, but it's not just get Cam there. Like, it would be my responsibility to get Cam there. Like, if he chooses to come, I mean.
Yeah. One of the ways you can get ballots into the draw for the giveaways, by the way, is follow Mayo Media Network on Instagram. We have brand new reels up there cutting down some of these shows, best of clips. So if you're on Instagram, go follow Mayo Media Network right now, all right, and get yourself 5 ballots into that draw. Top of the board, we talked through Scotty a little bit already. After Scotty, you got Rory, Brooks, Xander, Ludwig, and then Rahm at 20-1. Those are the big... Listen, I know you love Ludwig, and these are the big 6. It's crazy to see him above Jon Rahm, coming off a week where he WD'd with an injury.
Yeah, I was actually expecting that to drift, but I have Ludwig 100-1, so I'm flattered regardless. I hope he's healthy. It seems like it was a precautionary thing, but it's never a good sign. A guy WDs a young buck WDs the week before a major, like, that's not concerning, but yeah, lovely to see him down there. I think we'll see some drift, though. Rahm, I've seen it with an enhanced as high as 22. Like, this is incredible. That is why I have spent a couple times tweeting about trying to figure out what 8th place on Live Tour means.
Where did you see the 22-1?
Bet Phillip Rivers, because it's 20, but in the enhanced, it's 22, but you can't get placings. But I wouldn't bet that with placings.
Yeah, because I bet Brooks. I bet him at 17-1 this morning. That was the enhance at Bet365. They're also doing one of their offers where you can bet him at 22-1, but you have to play the each way of top 3. And I was like, screw that. I just want to bet him to win. If he's going to be in it, that's the way that I would go about it. It's funny that you can enhance Bryson to 28, but his enhanced number is 30 anyway. I thought that was a pretty hilarious offer. That you can get a worse number on Bryson by taking their special offer. But Brooks is going to be the guy for me coming off the win. It's a PGA Championship. I want to bet Brooks at PGA Championships. I want to bet him at US Opens. And hope that Rory calms down a little bit from what we saw at Quail Hollow, and if something is just off with Scotty, maybe the putter goes back to not being slightly above average, maybe it's bad again, and then all of a sudden someone else can win.
Makes total sense. Even talking with my buddies, casuals on the week, just Brooks Koepka. We had a streeter that just had a 20 up there on the weekend. I'm like, guys, I'm not betting it. It is stupid. But you guys probably should. It'll get you into the weekend. Enjoy it. I'm thrilled. I've already accepted my bets will be shit, and I'm just going to enjoy this great golf. I'm so excited for this tournament. Well, I'm not going to let my shitty bets not let me enjoy this tournament. That's also what happens when you bet responsibly. You don't have to hit a winner. Love to hit a winner. Love it.
You gotta stop.
I didn't mean to preach. I didn't mean to preach. That's bad form.
Wait, you gotta stop doing. You gotta stop doing the thing where you end a sentence and then start talking again. You gotta stop it. I don't know when to talk anymore.
When do we? I don't like that Rory played so well, so people are giving Xander a bit of a free pass yesterday because there was some horrific incidents. Rory's out of position. He's got a wedge. He can't hit anything. He's making shitty bogeys. I get Rory's hitting every putt, but I don't know. And I am, for the most part, an Xander apologist, but he's lucky he got waxed, but he showed no desire to want that fight. It seemed like when that back nine started.
Hey, the course played exceptionally difficult on the weekend at Quail Hollow. So to see Rory manhandle it like he did, like, what do you do at some points? I know he made those. I think that when he ended up making the consecutive bogeys on the back nine, it was just kind of, he was pressing to catch back up with Rory, and then it just got to him, and Rory couldn't miss. He went, and we talk about it. When Rory plays his best, he's the best player. It's just he doesn't play like that all that often anymore. But you saw it there, and like, what do you do? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. Even if he played better, what does he lose by 3? Who cares?
Okay, I agree with everything you said, but my emphasis was on those back nine bogeys. Like, he just wasn't, when it was time for the fight, he was not ready at all to enter a fight. That's kind of all. And I get Rory can be totally demoralizing, and wow, yesterday was iconic. And maybe not winning is was Rory's going to do that. You're not going to win. But him not being prepared for the fight when the back nine started, which led to it being like the total beatdown, it's not a good look. The weird thing with Xander is, it's almost like he gets Tommy Fleetwood's whole career in one half season. It's almost like, it's like watching the chart. Like, what was the worst Chargers loss this year? It's like Xander's already there. It's like, oh, there's like 6 to pick from. Xander's already there, and it's the midway point. Like, holy geez. So feel for him. He's obviously going to be pressing. I don't know how in good conscience, like, he could win it. I'll miss it. Congratulations. How you can bet him over Brooks staring at matching 16s? I don't know how anyone's doing it. How it's possible.
I don't get it either. I also don't know how you could back up to this and say, hey, I'm going to bet Xander over John Rahm. And that's not to say that Xander doesn't have a good shot of winning this. Of course he does. He just came in second. He was top 10 at the Masters. He's top 10 in every major, but almost everything that Cust said about Cam Young, we've just seen with Xander time over time. That do we really think that head-to-head versus Brooks, versus Scotty, versus Rory, versus Rahm, hell, versus Ludwig or Morikawa on Sunday, that Xander's going to beat them? Because I just don't have that faith.
Kind of agree. I don't know. It sucks. The thing is, yeah, the numbers, again, it's unbettable. And I'm not about to be some value hunter, but I can't get involved. Can't.
Well, if we're talking about like how much you think that they're going to win, I mean, Morikawa is playing a little bit better right now, so that's helpful to him. But do you really trust Xander more to win the PGA Championship than Morikawa or Will Zalatoris, who is now 65-1?
I saw one of those.
I'm gonna bet that. Like, that feels crazy.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy whose baseline major play is very much Xander. So yeah, take the guy at 60 or 50, 65-1. Yeah, you sort of knocked it. It's now to the point where I've made bad bets in this like under 20-1 range in regular tournaments and big tournaments. But I always believe if that guy got there versus the other big guys, I'll be just fine. Maybe it's just in the moment, but I don't. Like you said, you reeled them all off. I wouldn't want Xander over any of them. And it's not to say he can't beat them. He should beat them lots of times, but I don't trust it. Can't do it.
Okay. So those are the big 6. So I'm betting Brooks. Who are you betting from this group?
I think I'm leaning towards John Rahm. Like, I get really excited. As I said, I've been sort of trying to figure out a reason to allow myself to do it, to be an apologist for finishing 8th of 28 a lot. For other than one live event, like, it doesn't feel like he was ever truly in the fight to win them, despite his floor being kind of high in all of them. But again, he's playing 28 guys with a pulse. So I don't know how to quantify that. I'm still having trouble. You beat those 28 guys. I know that's an accomplishment. I don't doubt it one bit. But of that group, I'm leaning that big number. And obviously I got my Ludwig piece, and we'll say a prayer. But I want to trust Rahm's got that game. It is in them. And a course like this can just, the bell needs to be answered. But that it's easy to acknowledge something just doesn't seem totally right there. Like from shanks to super short misses, it doesn't seem to be totally right, but I'm getting a price and I'm trying to pick a winner.
If you had to choose between Scheffler and Rory, it would be 100% Scheffler, right?
Yeah, probably.
It would be
but
for me.
Rory. I'm here. We're very like, I don't want to say we're Rory like fanboys, but we're pretty much always been pro Rory despite never betting him and wanting him to end this thing. I want to say Valhalla was like our first ever show. I could be wrong. Maybe we actually started doing the show the next year, but we hung out during Valhalla, Pat. But he literally hasn't won a major since we started doing the show. I want him to win the major. Like I want that storyline over. But the storyline I kind of want more is Rahm going to the Open Championship trying to complete a Grand Slam. That's a story I really want.
Well, what do we have? One player with a chance to complete the Grand Slam this weekend. It's Spieth.
Yeah. And it's almost like we know he has no chance because it never gets spoken about, or we're going to talk about it in like a decade. But I'm not sure.
I do think that if as weird as this sounds, the shift from the easier style PGA Championship to the more USGA harder style with the PGA of America PGA Championships that we've seen, it does feel like with greens and regulation down, although you need that distance, that's really the big thing. But the distance really hasn't been a problem for Spieth. He's actually driving the ball incredibly well. That these sorts of tournaments are, I think this is now for where the state of his game right now. Now let's throw out what happened in 2017, 2016. He was a different guy. He was the best player in the world. It wasn't even close. Tee to green, he was amazing, and he made every putt. He's not that guy anymore. But I think that US Opens now and PGA Championships now are actually kind of good for him, unless you get like a really waterlogged Open Championship, because this might turn into a scramble fest if the wind gets up high enough.
Yeah, and there's a few guys I've earmarked who I might want to bet if that does be the case. He's driving it really well also, right? Like that kind of hasn't been the problem, or he's hitting it farther. So there are things that set up for him, but I don't trust him to have a week of magic. Like I just don't feel it. I don't see it. I honestly do not care the number. What is it?
It's 8.
Probably
80.
the 66 is the biggest I'm seeing.
80, I believe, with the enhancement at Bet365 is the best number you'll probably get right now. 70, sorry.
Yeah, but I guess the other question I had is like a player of that popularity, truly one of the most popular active players going, arguably the most popular active player going for a Grand Slam, gets literally none of the attention. Now, will that happen in 8 years? That we're going to put pressure on him, or he's going to be like 250 to 1. So it'll even be more of a thing. And the only reason Phil and Rory sort of have that pressure is because when they were truly chasing it, they were like legitimate favorites in a lot of those tournaments.
Was that a question?
Yeah. Like why, like the Spieth for the Grand Slam gets none of the gasoline that any of the other, because he's so popular too. Like because he's so popular, he's going for a Grand Slam. It has no gasoline. Well, Rory and Phil always had gasoline for their quests.
I think it's because Rory and Phil had sustained a level of elite play over the years that they were always a threat to win a major championship, and it doesn't feel like Spieth is at that level right now.
It's the simplest answer, but probably absolutely right. I just thought his popularity would allow for the conversation. 66 to 1. No, there's other, like to skip. I'd rather bet like Hatton. I'm going to ask for that sort of magic.
One of the things that I did want to circle back to, we identified the big six, but we're really treating it like a big four. And then we have the next tier who we'll talk about in a second. But with all the narrative coming in, Scotty has the baby and he won the Masters and he won Heritage and he won Bay Hill and he won the Players. So he has those 4 wins and a second place finish in his past 5 starts. Brooks gets his win coming in. Rory gets the team event win with Lowry. Then he blows everyone out Sunday at the Wells Fargo Championship to get career win number 26. And then you have Rahm, who's been middling struggling, but still good on Live Tour, and we still regard him as one of these guys. You have these 4 guys almost on a collision course right now. Maybe Bryson gets into it. Maybe Hideki, coming off an injury, ends up getting into it. You'll get your Zalatoris. They'll be up there. Because everyone is now convinced that one of these guys is going to win, or one of these big names, does this now allow it for someone from the back of the pack just to storm?
Someone from the back of the pack is joining the party. I have a bit of a back of the pack list, but there are a lot of like shit houses. But yeah, someone is storming. Can they win? I do believe like a Mito-esque guy, not Mito, is going to be here. Like with these big boys, it's going to be really fun. Because I think some of them are just going to be able to mash their way with the others.
From the 30 to 100 range, we'll start off. Tim's pick, Bryson. You can get at 30 as the best number right now. Morikawa, same with him. You have Max Homa, 33 to 1. Cameron Smith as high as 40 to 1 right now. Then you have Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Wyndham Clark, Joaquin Niemann, Tommy Fleetwood. They're all at that number. Victor, you can get as low as 46 now, which is kind of crazy, but 40 to 1 at a lot of places. Cam Young is there. Hideki, who I mentioned coming off the injury. Zalatoris, Day, Fitzpatrick, Spieth, DJ, who was another one of Tim's picks. Hatton, Finau, Sungjae, Sahith, Ben An, Min Woo, who's an anti-pick for Tim. Burns, Gooch, Lowry, Connors, like all these guys are in that range. And hell, I mean, with Connors, you can get him as high as 111 to 1 if you really wanted to. So I have 2 bets in, and they're both futures from this range. One's a good number, one's a bad number. I bet Sahith 2 weeks ago at 66 to 1 to win this. I thought he would have a better Wells Fargo Championship. When you shoot 80 on Saturday, you're not going to have a very good time. But he's available at 80 to 1 right now. I still recommend betting Sahith, but I have him at 66, and that number is locked in. So what am I going to do? I have him at 66. It's a fine number for me. I also have Wyndham Clark at 66 to 1. He's now 41 to 1 or 40 to 1. It's funny, one bad tournament, now all of a sudden, like, Wyndham Clark no longer fits a course which is perfectly suited for him.
Yeah, one bad tournament. He wasn't that great at the Heritage.
He came second or third, sorry.
Sorry, I don't know. Sorry, maybe it's the Masters. Sorry, where he was he was yakking it up with Brooks. But I agree. I have 2 futures in this range. One of them is Neiman, 80, and Wyndham, 50 to 1 from Rivers. I'll take it. They seem to be both lovely fits for the course. I love Bryson this week. I'm sort of deciding who gets to join my futures card between Rahm and Bryson. Yeah, that's sort of where my head is at. Not afraid. Tim's a big game hunter. That's what I'll tell myself. But I think Bryson is ready to eat. A lot of these like Neiman ready to eat, in my opinion. I think 40 to 1, very fair for the arrows this guy hits. The deep arrows, long and straight, off the tee with the irons. So those would be, honestly, the guys like Bryson and Neiman in front of 50 would be the guys that I like. I love your Sahith tout. I love Cam Young. So there's a lot going on here. And if it's going to play different, Tyrrell Hatton is the player I want. Like, I'm a live bot, baby. I don't know. I think they're Tim said, I think these guys are going to eat it. It's going to be, they may as well, Pat, put this thing on fucking YouTube Sunday, because it's going to be a live board. Chasing Scotty with Scotty, in my opinion.
So Rory has no chance, according to you.
No, I love Rory. I'm live, but no. I'm not full live bot. I love Rory. I still, the chutzpah of these guys saying no to Rory after the tour pissed on him, after the tour threw him out in a tornado and didn't let him back inside the house. He's allowed to flip. I give Rory a hard time, a lot. I have, despite being a Rory fan, that he does talk out of both sides of his mouth on a lot of issues. But that does not mean that a lot of that was in defense of the PGA Tour, and that Kevin Streelman could be part of, I don't want this guy, Patrick Cantlay, all behind Oz Tiger. I'm not happy about it.
You realize you can't just say that.
Hold on.
You can't just say that. You can't just
Rory's allowed to step
fuck
outside.
off.
and
Listen to
wanna come
me.
back
Shut
in.
up. You can't just allude to things that people don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Everyone watching.
No,
knows
they
exactly
don't. No,
what
they
I'm
don't,
talking
Jeff.
about.
They don't.
Yeah,
This is
they
a
do.
PGA Championship show with a lot new people tuning in because it's a major. Can you please explain what you're talking about?
Well, Rory left the advisory board. He wanted back on. They told him no. Because Kevin Streelman and fucking James Hahn don't think that's right or fair. And we all know Rory's been a whipping boy. He put himself, he took a lot out of himself emotionally for the PGA Tour, and they turned his back on him. They turned his back on him. At the same time, a seat has always been afforded to a tummy ache piece of shit like the Commissioner Jay Monahan. When he disappeared for a summer, his spot wasn't gone. His spot wasn't gone. He's allowed to come back. I get Rory left under his own free will. What I'm here to say is what they put Rory through, he's allowed to step outside and say, you know what? Actually, I want to come back in. And they should be on their hands and fucking knees for him, for what they've done. I mean that. And the fact that he went out there and just turtled that place, turned everyone into a bitch, by proxy, beat the shit out of Patrick Cantley via his girlfriend, Xander. What a moment for him. I'm certain of it. And while I will not have a bet, I would love so much for Rory to take home Valhalla this week. I really would. Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
I'm betting Zalatoris at 65-1. The number's just too big. Too big for Zal.
Might even be bigger.
It might be. And then I can cash out the 65 and bet it at a bigger number at a different place if I end up seeing it there. I did see that.
Dude.
What?
Let me bet it for you right now. There's an 80.
Sure. Can you bet the 80 for me, please?
Sure. Happy to do it.
$50 at 80-1. I'll send you $50.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
All right. So we'll call that 80. Thank you for that. Hideki is at 60 in some places. I would guess that number gets even bigger. If that number also gets up to like 80, 85, I'm going to bet Hideki. I don't care that he came. Hideki does this every week. He gets hurt. Sometimes he withdraws. Other times, like, he's absolutely fine. I'm kind of guessing he'll be absolutely fine.
Who is closer to just being? Here's the thing. The guy played the Houston Open the week before the Masters.
And played great.
He played great. So I don't know. It's been a long time since he golfed. He didn't play the Heritage. I'm of the thought, well, I would totally be willing to gamble because there's way more gamble than skill involved, and a lot of the professionals want you to believe. There's a lot of skill involved, but the amount that you're actually gambling is way more than they want to tell you. It's a gamble. I don't believe he's healthy. He can't be. He withdrew. Didn't play he missed an elevated event after the Masters. These are free cash homies.
I don't think he's
These are
hurting for cash.
I get it. But guys, what finishing 50th place in this shit for what they got to go out and do when he's already stateside? It's a really, in the pantheon of Hideki WDs, this one to me is a bit weirder. I don't know. I'm paranoid about a Ludwig WD, so I'm obviously freaking out. This one scares me way more.
Well, I just think that number is going to continue to drift, and we're going to see Hideki at the same number as fucking Seb Straka or something like that.
And then it's sort of like the same logic, not the same, but with Rahm, there's an injury thing, but it's like, I'm trying to pick the winner. And you're going to give me a number where, like, okay, if he loses, then whatever. Goes on the huge pile of big outright losses. You're right. There could be a number this week where it's just too big, and I'd be willing to eat a bad bet. But I'll take my chance because we know the guy. So you could be onto something there. How big, though? We'll see.
Is there anyone else in that 30 to 100 range that you're really going to consider? Because I am considering Bryson and or Homa and or Morikawa, one of those guys.
Yeah, didn't really talk much about Homa or Morikawa.
It makes sense for Homa. So here's why. It's the Masters performance. It's the Open performance. He finally gets the monkey off his back, gets the top 10 at the Open last year. All of a sudden, he's just in contention Sunday at the Masters, a place where he has never really played well. But this course in particular, like, where does Homa play well? It's like Zalatoris. Where do they play well? The long courses with the thick rough where you do need to amp it up and start making. I mean, Homa's a much better putter than Zalatoris, although Zalatoris has just putted really well in major championships over the past 3 years. But they have the distance, they have the short game, they have the putting, they have the iron play. And does nothing reek to you more than Max Homa, PGA champion?
That is the perfect fit. That's the one where I close my eyes. That's the one that I see. At the same time, I would probably want to lean to Morikawa. And that might be silly. That might just me be thinking the floor is higher, which is a bad way to make the actual outright bet. But he's playing quite well again since the Masters, and he's continued that play through. He is the one that I think I would trust more to meet the moment out of those two. And I look at that other Valhalla leaderboard, and what would concern me is it seemed like everyone up there putted well, except Victor, it was enjoyable watching you point out. And I don't want to have so much PGA content running through my brain right now. But we did see players like a Furyk linger, not necessarily at the top, but be part of that next wave on the leaderboard. And I think a guy like Morikawa can easily get up there.
So you think that Morikawa is going to putt his way to the top of the leaderboard? That's your take?
No, that would be my concern, but I just mean like just the I just think his ball striking on these smaller greens can get him home.
But his
this
ball striking has been so bad is sort of the thing. He is relying on his putter for these finishes. He hasn't gained strokes on approach since the West Coast. The driving has been really good. The chipping has been way better than his career rate, and he's putting the lights out right now. So maybe if we always think, hey, this amazing ball striker, can they just putt this week and they'll cross the finish line? They don't even need to do a ton on the green. Just don't lose objectively to the field, and you can be there. With Morikawa right now, we're kind of playing that same game, but crazily enough, it's with his irons.
Yeah, it's crazy to see. Like he's 87th in approach on this fantasy national grid. That's not normal. But it was coming around. It just hasn't come around. And it is creepy to see like where the green is and where the red is. But he's managed to have these results. I don't know. Between him and Homa, he would be my pick. And I'm not usually the guy that defers to the guy with majors. It's actually weird for me. I like to back guys without majors. But it does seem like this tournament is being hoarded by just a few guys.
So here's something interesting, I think, with Homa when you go back and look, and I kind of pointed to his results at other courses. And I don't know if he's going to get a ton of love this week. So the 35 that's out there on him right now might be a 45 or 50 this time on Tuesday night. So I'm going to wait on all these guys. I'll have everything in the newsletter. If you're looking for the wind and everything, just sub to the newsletter. It's completely free. It's down in the description right now. And by subbing to it, you get 5 ballots in the giveaway draw. So you might as well do it. But 8th at Quail Hollow, 3rd at the Masters, 8th at Bay Hill, 16th at Riv, 13th at Torrey Pines for Max Homa so far this year. When you look at where he has not played well, I mean, not played well being relative, he's made the cut in most places. Heritage, Valero, The Players, Phoenix, Pebble Beach. Like, which one do you want? The long, hard courses or the short, easy courses? Homa's played well at the long, hard courses.
Yeah. He's like almost the complete opposite of like a Sam Burns. I would argue that Morikawa brings that great Nicklaus course history here, though.
Yeah, number one on Nicklaus courses for players with more than one round. He has the win at the Concession. He has the win not at Memorial. He lost at Memorial to Cantlay in a playoff, but he won the Workday when that was contested at Muirfield Village as well. So yes, he has done very well at those courses, although Muirfield Village played much easier the year that he won because the Memorial was at the same course the next week. So it didn't quite play as difficult as you would normally see for that tournament.
Do you see the comps to Memorial here?
Not really, no.
'Cause I don't know. I feel like I've seen people say that, but unlike flyovers, I didn't necessarily feel that. That would have that made me, in my John Rahm thought process. I enjoyed that aspect that maybe there's some memorial ties. But if we're sticking in front of 100, Pat, is that what you said? I am probably. I love Minwoo Lee. I don't know.
You like
I
what?
don't see how I won't be able to resist that one this week.
You like? I'm sorry, who?
Minwoo?
Oh, Minwoo. You mean you could bet Zalatoris or Minwoo basically the same number right now, and you'd pick Minwoo?
I like them both.
Okay. Or Ben An at the same number. I mean, Ben An just did lead the field in putting at Quail Hollow. Top 10 off the tee, top 10 on approach, number 1 in putting, ends up coming third. He's another guy. He's lost in a playoff at Memorial in the past. He's played well at Nicklaus courses. He's got everything you would want. He's top 5 in driving distance right now. We know the iron play, but as you consistently point out, is he top 3 in the world of guys you trust the least to make a 2-foot putt?
Yeah, I love what Ben An has done because he got kicked to the ground. He's had to work his way back up, and now you can make fun of it, but he does seem like he's a total lock for the President's Cup team. But at the moment, to me, he just feels like South Pacific Tommy Fleetwood. And I love Tommy Fleetwood. I've gone to the wall for Tommy Fleetwood in big tournaments all the time. But if the moment actually presented himself to Ben An on Sunday, I don't have confidence that he would meet it. I have my own losers who I would want to bet at this back part, be it a Sahith, be it a Willie Z, be it Minwoo. I've got my own losers. I totally get why anyone would want to bet Ben An. He is brick shithousing it right now. He seems like a perfect player for what's being asked, and he's coming off the best putting week of his life. I'll just bet it with placings if that's your shtick.
Let's go 100 to 1 and above, because I do think some of these guys are live, and because Rory gets the win and he crumbles down to 8 to 1 in the market, and Scotty is where he is, we're getting a lot higher quality name above 100 to 1 this week for a major. Most of these guys are usually 60 to 70 to 1. Now they're above 100. So I'm going to start off with one right away that I'm looking at on my screen right now. Byron pointed this out as well, that no major championship has a higher repeat rate than the PGA Championship. I think it's 51% of Wanamaker Trophy hoisters are former Wanamaker Trophy hoisters. And we didn't mention Justin Thomas, who's won this twice. We'll get to him in a second. But Keegan Bradley, coming off consecutive elevated events, gaining over 4 strokes on approach in those fields against the best players in the world at 2 separate type of courses, all of a sudden is 275 to 1.
I like that a lot. Did you get placings on that? Probably not.
No,
right?
You cannot get placings on that. The number with the placings, if you're looking for it right now, this is at 365, what I'm looking at the moment. If I go to where you can get placings, you can get Keegan 175 to 1 if you want 8 places.
Yeah, that's crazy. Keegan has been on point. I would say I also saw, I know I'm a bit of an animal for this guy at the moment, but I saw Steven Yeager 200 to 1.
Yeah, I'd rather have the guy who's won a major before.
Yeah, sure. But so Steven Yeager, to me, he's got just as good of a chance of winning this as Ben On.
I agree.
Or better. And he's been playing right. I think he suits this place lovely. I think his around the green game can excel. You mix that with the driver. I think he's in play. I'm seeing some huge numbers, which I know it's not our deal. And you're going to spend 2.5 days breaking the shit down, Pat. But I might have to drive to New York State because the sort of Scotty Scheffler with guys at 7,100 that I feel like I can build, mix in a Thomas Detry at 6,200. I got a lineup.
And you can do some pick'ems while you're there on Underdog Fantasy with Code Mayo, and play in the Pat Mayo Classic Draft on Underdog as well. 3 max entry, $20 to play. You draft for your Thursday team only, and it's completely rake-free. There's $10,000 of rake-free money on Underdog Fantasy. Use Code Mayo to go sign up. Go under golf, go under draft, and find the PME Classic. Once the tee times have been released, I'll be on those streets, so you get to draft against me, and that's free money. So it's better than rake-free. It's my donation to the pot as well.
Yeah, I absolutely get in that. because I'm not in football mode. I just keep pumping the golf. And I got to say, in your season long major contest, I got 5 of 6 through. I got paid out for winning those contests. If there was like a live odds tracker to win that thing, I'd probably be like a co-favorite right now.
Because you have 5 teams through?
Yeah, I got 5 of 6 through. There's like Scheffler Ludwig parties in there. Like,
Yeah,
let's go.
I got 2
let's
through. I only had the first pick twice, so I got Scheffler twice. Both those teams made it through.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, got lucky. But also one of my non-Scheffler teams got through, so proud of that sucker. But yeah, I'm excited. Although I'm sure it'll all backfire big. I'm 100% Griot there, and he's just horrible these days. So won't be getting that score. I don't even know what the biggest number. Sorry.
I got 4 guys. So Keegan was one at 275 to 1. Mac Hughes, I just keep coming back to Mac Hughes for this venue. Has obviously played well at Nicklaus courses in the past. And you mentioned if the weather gets a bit wonky, Hatton would be a guy. But if this turns into more of a scramble fest than we're used to, Mac Hughes isn't as short off the tee as I think that people realize. He's kind of like Spieth. He's longer than you think. And then, as we've talked about for the past few weeks, although Pendrith now looks like the guy if any Canadian is going to win, but Pendrith's approach game is still absolute dog shit. Even the week that he won, yes, he drove the ball like a champion, which you're going to need to do. The chipping has been on point. The putting has been on point. Maybe that's a better route for him because he's kind of doing everything that Mac Hughes does, but better at the moment. But Hughes just finished really well at Quail Hollow. I like him at longer, harder courses. If it's going to be single digits under par for the win, I don't know if like the outright is the way that I want to play it, but maybe it's a top 10, maybe it's a top 20. I just feel like he is now live to just start making putts. Everything that you want to get from Spieth at 70 to 1, you can now bet Mac Hughes at 300 to 1 and get the same thing.
Yeah, that's bold. I kind of see where you're going there. He's probably does hit it a lot farther than I would give him credit for. I'm excited to see that top Canadian market because it is ultra competitive, and I don't know. I'm seeing Pendrith at 300 to 1. If that had placings, that could have my interest.
If you had to guess, what do you think that Mac Hughes is in this field in driving distance? Where does he rank? Now, I've already kind of told you that he's longer than you think, but what would you have guessed of 150?
Easily the back half. Easily the back half.
Like 130.
For sure.
Something like that.
Probably like the 80. Like if you told me it's better than I think, I would have guessed 80. But yeah, maybe even north of 100. Like if I came into this cold.
Yeah, he's 68th. So he's just slightly above average.
And just for point of reference, I guess you just have him in front of you. I'd be curious.
No, I have them all in front of me.
Like who are just the players around him who I assume are like great drivers, just on perception.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Cantlay. He's ahead of Cantlay.
Yeah.
Pavon, KH Lee, Thirsty Lawrence, Taylor Montgomery, Bhatia, Lowry, Hoagie, Horschel, Cam Davis. Like all guys that you would assume are probably longer than him. They're not. At least right now.
You haven't mentioned Bhatia yet.
Oh, yeah, he's next on the list. Akshay is 175 to 1. That's just an auto bet for me. I mean, he won the PGA Championship Junior at Valhalla in 2018. How can you not bet the guy? He's my guy. And Taylor Moore, who I just continue to bet at these things. But this is a great Taylor Moore course because chipping and putting and distance. Those are his 3 things. Hit an iron, can't do it. Can't do it at all. But he's 350 to 1.
Yeah, I like the dichotomy of both those players, and I like them both. I mean, Bhattier's pure flusher. He's going to win this hitting an insane amount of greens and using his improved putting. Taylor Moore has just been incredibly consistent, and it seems like there's no par he can't make these, like, at times, if you're tracking him.
Yeah, I mean, he struggled to make some pars on the weekend at Quail Hollow, unfortunately. Should we mention Jake Knapp? Who had it going in, because I had him as first round leader at Quail Hollow, and I had the top 5 each way along with him, and he was in third place behind Rory and Xander, walking on to the 17th tee on Thursday. He was 4 under par at Quail Hollow. He was playing great. Then he went double water, and that was just the end of him. And we never heard from him again for the rest of the week. But we talk about the courses where we would like him. This does seem like it just hit it as far as you can and let the rest of it play out.
Yeah, if that's the recipe, I don't know. I would bet my own losers in that thought, but if that's your like roster construction or the players you're aiming for, seem like you would want to include him. I don't. Again, I got my own losers for actually thinking who can pull this off.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily talking about who is going to win this tournament. I mean, he's 300 to 1, but like, how can we get, whether it be on DraftKings to fill out lineups, or is that like a first round leader, top 20 market, top 30 market, like head to heads with him? He's one that I'm very interested in based on his skill set.
Yeah, no, he definitely has a skill set that I'll be paying like a much more expensive price for. You are not wrong. He's like the food court version of some of the players I'll be buying this week.
Yeah, he's the Manchu Walk. You're not going to a fancy Chinese restaurant. You're getting Jake Knapp in the food court for $9.99 and a couple extra chicken wings.
Yeah, that's our Panda Express for translation. But yeah, you're absolutely not wrong on that. And it almost feels like Hatton is a very expensive priced version of that player.
Hatton?
No, of the other, like the other side of the coin.
Oh, yes, I would agree. He's like fancy Nick Taylor.
Yeah, he's like really expensive, but I would rather, like, especially, I know I'm not a DraftKings guy, but like I would crush a Hatton over like a Cam Smith here for sure. Maybe I'm dead wrong.
No, I don't know about that. About that. Because it's not like Hatton's out there just lighting the world on fire with his driving distance either. Like, he has some limitations off the tee from time to time. Sometimes it's amazing, other times it's not. And last year really felt like the year that Hatton was gonna get it done. But he is, slightly inside the top 50 in terms of driving distance, whereas Cam Smith is like outside the top 100. You know who the numbers really loved this week?
Other than Ben Ann?
Ben Ann's like the very top, just names that I wasn't expecting. I mean, I expected Burmeister, the Burmista lady, to really rate out well, and he did. But Jordan Smith was the other one.
I watched your preview show. You might have said his name more than any other name on the whole show.
It's crazy, right?
And for the first little bit, I'm like, did he mean Spieth? Like, I'm listening, doing other things, on a dog walk, picking up dog shit here in neighborhood noise. And I'm like, by the time I'm like, no, he's actually not. It's not Spieth. This is other conversation about Jordan Smith. Yeah, crazy. I couldn't even tell you what his odds are.
I think he's 500 to 1.
He's 500 to 1.
425 to 1. I bet you at certain books he's like 700 to 1 or something. I don't think I'm going to end up getting there on Jordan Smith. But again, to pile with these guys, like, how do I utilize that he seems to rate out really well? Is it to win the PGA Championship? Probably not. But is it to do well? How do I capitalize on that?
Yeah, you roster him with the 1300 Scotty.
Yeah, but even from the betting market perspective, how do I get like him and Taylor Moore? Like, if I go Jordan Smith, I don't even know if this ends up working out on DraftKings, but if I go Keegan, Jordan Smith, and Knapp, let's say, or Taylor Moore, who can I afford then? You get Moore's 62. Jordan Smith is 55. And Keegan is 71. You throw those guys in. You got 10-4 left. So if you take Scotty, you got 9,000 left. So you compare those guys with... You go Hideki. Actually, no. Let's take Hideki. You go Zalatoris. And Fitz if you wanted to.
Or
But I do
like Hatton and Wyndham or something.
Or get rid of Zalatoris and Fitzpatrick and take Brooks, and then you get 72. Who's at 72? Bhatia.
Lots of players.
There we go.
Yeah. No, for sure. But yeah, even Henley's sneaky 73 there. The Meester could be popular too at 7,000.
I would guess that he will be. Again, like statistic-wise. So, you have to be convinced. If you listen to the research show, Tim just parroted back what I said on the research show.
I didn't want to call. I wasn't going to call him out on that, but yeah. What was it? It was Burmese. There was a couple of things. Oh, Steve Stricker. Him being able to recite the Stricker performance. Definitely. For sure.
Justin Thomas. You took a lot of heat on the internet, mainly from me, about why he has an interview schedule at the PGA Championship, despite being the hometown guy and a 2-time PGA Championship winner. Wait, what are you talking about?
Happy hour on a Friday, okay? Just whatever. I forgot the home. You're right. Sure. Just like, okay, whatever. He gets to go first. All the media that's there early, they can ask him about high school. It'll be great. He'll play fine, but there are a few players literally at that 40-1 and in number who I would bet Justin Thomas over. And by few, I mean literally none. You think this guy in front of friends and family is going to hit the putt?
Hold on. You are saying at the same number, you would bet Tommy Fleetwood instead of Justin Thomas at a PGA Championship.
Oh, fuck. Fleetwood's not 40-1.
He is 40-1.
Hold on. I'm going to go by a better authority.
Maybe, yeah. If you start, I'm just looking at one book right now. They have Thomas at 40, Fleetwood at 40, Victor at 40, Neiman at 40, Cam Smith at 40, Wyndham Clark at 40, Cantlay at 40. I'd rather bet Justin Thomas than Cantlay.
Yeah, there's very few players. I don't think I trust him as few as any of these guys to hit the 5-footer, especially in front of friends and family. What made Morikawa's win beautiful was COVID. Doesn't even count. There's no one there. It's like a home game without any home game nonsense. So it's like a perfect storm. And he took full fucking advantage. There's like not a chance in hell I would bet Thomas over Wyndham. I would bet Thomas over Neiman. Like there's no way I would do it. No way.
I would bet, and of everyone on that tier, I would bet Thomas over everyone besides Wyndham Clark.
Nope. Can't do it. Nope.
He's a 2-time PGA Championship winner. As recent as, 2 years ago?
Yeah. It's true.
And the game is coming back around. He was 5th at Heritage. He was 21st last week. Gained tee to green. And all of them, the putting has been not as disastrous as it was a month and a half ago. The way to play this is when we're doing the Cut Sweat show on Friday or on Sunday morning and Thomas is 5 back or something, just bet him then at 28-1.
Okay. Sorry. That was my maybe thought. Or like 6 back Sunday morning. That might be like the time, but no chance here. No chance. I think he'll just be right in the middle of the whole festivity.
Let's get to
which is fine. It is what it is. But him and Brian Harman, I've said it. I don't hide it. They're like 2 players, like decent players. Like no 2 players would I enjoy never seeing win again, even in RSM, than those 2.
I think you're talking about 2 players on significantly different skill sets and career paths.
Oh, I agree. I'm kind of going 2 tiers, but like those would be my totally different. But the players that if you said like you don't ever have to see these 2 guys win again, would be Thomas and Brian Harman.
Yeah, because Brian Harman is essentially fancy Russell Henley.
Yeah.
But I think with fewer wins, but he has the major.
Probably. Way more annoying Russell Henley.
Because he's slow.
Oh my God, it was slow. He putts with a kitchen table. I get the whole operation annoys the fuck out of me. Maybe I'm easily annoyed.
I think that you are, especially now that you're invested all the time in seeing it all. I feel like it triggers you more than other people.
I think sometimes I do care way less than you might think, but
then I see your rage level, and I would disagree.
No, because I'm passionate about so few things. So sometimes my like passion and excitement can be confused for like an overwhelming, but that's how I present myself. So I obviously have to accept that that's how people would read it, which is fine. I have fun. And when I'm not afraid to say something stupid, I do it often. I did it Friday night. Clearly Justin Thomas deserves his time, his home state. He's won this thing twice.
Quick picks for the PGA Championship. I got the 4 in right now. Brooks at 17, Theegala at 66, but you can get that at 80 or 90 right now, but that's a future, so I can't change it. Wyndham Clark, I have at 66-1. That's now at 40-1. I would bet the 40 if I was coming in clean, so you can do that as well if you want to tail along with me, but hopefully you got that future from back in February. And then added today, thank you to Jeff, Will Zalatoris, 80 1 for the PGA Championship. The names that I'm floating around near the top again, Bryson, Morikawa, and Homa in that 30 to 40 range. We'll see if the drift happens to Homa, it's probably going to be Homa for me. And then from beyond that, I'm looking at Keegan Bradley. That is a auto bet at 275 to 1 for me. Other than that, you got Bhatia, Moore, Hughes, and Jordan Smith. When I talk to Cam and Raza on the Best Bet show, I'll figure out a way to deploy those guys better, and I don't think the outright market is where I want to do that, but whether it be top 10, top 20, top 30, make the cut, miss the cut, any of those different markets is where I want to be with those guys, but Keegan will be a bet at 275. So maybe those are my 5. Brooks, Sahith, Wyndham, Zalatoris, Keegan, with one ad coming later in the week, which you will be able to find both on the shows and in the free newsletter, which is down in the description right now. Subscribe to it and get yourself into a draw for $500 cash, one of 2 annual memberships to fantasynational.com a month to shipitnation.com. It's completely free to do, so go do that. All of the giveaway stuff in ballots and how you get them are down in the description. Cust is taking Bryson, DJ, and the Burmista Mista lady. Get him out of here is probably what we'll be saying to Burmista when he's at the very top of the leaderboard. And he has 4 guys who cannot win the PGA Championship in order. Victor, Cam Smith, and Min Woo Lee. Also, Cameron Young. Jeff, your picks.
Futures, Ludwig, 100. Let's go. Neiman, 80. Wyndham C. Windy C, 50. I swear I have a Minwoo Lee. I can't locate it. But it's the same number. We'll get back in, and maybe if he wins, I'll have 2 of them. That would be super fun. What we're looking at right now, though, like Rahm, 22 enhanced, Bryson, 30. Like, I gotta bet one of those. I think lives in for a monster week. I don't mind Pat Sahith shout, the Willie Z shout. One of those could be lovely as well. That's it. I wanted to bet Hatton, but I'm not betting him at this number. Like, I'm just not. Can't do it. Too short for me.
What number are you seeing?
60?
60?
Yeah, you got some like 80 for me or something?
Yeah, I think that it is 80 here. I mean, it's 70.
It'll probably, I don't think he'll be popular. I'll give that a day or two. Like, that's gonna go up. I'm certain of it. I don't know why it would start 60. But if it's going to play different, then I think he's the guy I actually want to have money on this week.
I will be tempted into that Hideki number if it gets to triple digits, and I will auto bet it. I don't care if he withdraws after a shot or doesn't play at all. Then, I mean, I'll get my money back if he doesn't play at all like I did last week. But eventually the number gets so big, you're like, well, what if he's not hurt and he's just fine? Then you're like, oh my God, this guy should be 35 to 1.
I agree. There is a point where, like, I don't even care. You could count it on any ledger, but I will have to just play. And when it loses, it just goes on the dead pile. Because 7th place would mean as much to me as a miscut. It'd be win only. And I think there is a number where I would, in the same way, like, I want to take a chance on Rahm because of a number. You could absolutely give me a number on Hideki where I'll ignore the injury and bet it blind.
$40 pays $11K for Keegan Bradley, Jeff.
He like, I don't think he's afraid of the moment. If he got into the moment, if the moment presented itself to him, then that's sort of half the battle when you're trying to pick like a huge dog who you're just hoping could be a part of what is likely waiting at the top on the weekend. So that's the nice thing I can say. Is it Paul or Keegan Whisper?
Paul is. Paul, are you in on Keegan this week?
Only because you brought it up. It's kind of borderline in terms of like the Northeast.
Yeah, but they would also call this the South somehow, despite geography not playing any sort of tricks on the mind when you look at a map.
It's kind of just very central. But yeah, I'll play. Hopefully it's a grind fest because I played Willie Z, Keegan, and who else did I play? It was small.
One and done picks for the PGA Championship. Cust is taking Bryson DeChambeau. It is your pick over my pick because you had Rory last week and you've jumped to first place in the one and done in our 3-man. It's a non-competitive 3-man race. You are at $9.1 million. I'm at 7.4. Cust is at 1.2.
Very interesting.
I don't know how he could be at 1.2. There's like no cut events here.
Did he make his pick? Is it Bryson by default?
Yeah, his pick is always his number 1, so Bryson is his pick. I assume you're going to use Rahm if you're betting him.
Yeah, I mean, I would have taken Bryson, I think, just to sort of save Rahm to get heated up. But you know what? I'm not. I've said it. A couple years ago, I wanted an 8-year contract. We're into year 3. We're bringing this shit home. Joachim Neiman.
Okay. So Brooks Koepka, for me, will be my one and done. We'll talk more in depth about the one and done picks on Wednesday's show with Tambo about how to navigate in the bigger contest. But again, we're just playing 1v1v1 here, so you can go with the chalkier picks as possible. But as you're finding out, Jeff, just getting the good players right in the big tournaments is the entire key to this.
Yeah, I literally was like dead in the water. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm just firing good players. When I get down to the FedEx Cup or late in the year, I'll find other good players. Other good players will have shown themselves. The question, though, now is, Pat, like, you have to be firing a live guy this week. I feel like it'd be malpractice not to, in the sense that they really do set up lovely. There's a lot of great options, and you can only use them in pretty much 2 other tournaments.
I think that's a bit overstated. The
way
that
you can't use them other places?
No, that Cust was going on about how this is perfect for the live guys. It's great for Brooks, Bryson, and DJ, and Burmeister and Neiman. That's like 5 of the 13 that are in the field.
Yeah, and Rahm, the good ones, though.
And Rahm, yeah.
Like, that's sort of, yeah.
But I mean, which majors aren't good for those guys?
But I mean, like, okay, that's fair. But I didn't come into the year thinking I'm only using live players in majors. Well, no, sorry, that I'm going to the majors and I'm going to just throw live players. But I'm at this one and I'm thinking, like, how do you not throw a live player this one? Like, I don't know. That's just, it almost seems so obvious, but part of the game is swerving. But you don't win swerving at a major championship.
No, but the
like,
swerve,
who's ever done that?
The swerve at the major championship this time is if you haven't used Xander yet, you use Xander now because everyone's either used Xander or doesn't want to take him because you can use the live guys. And all of a sudden you get a 2% Xander. Even if he comes in 3rd, you're probably lapping most of the field.
That's a great point. I'll give you that one.
Homa would be another one, for example. Morikawa. Like, these guys are in play to win this tournament.
I would also agree. I lean Morikawa there, but you did a good sell for Max.
I think we'll get a bigger number on Max as we go along as well. But that will do it.
I think we get a big number on Aberg. Aberg's going up this week. Don't be afraid to bet it either.
You had nothing to say, then you decided to cut me off during the extra.
I had lots to say. You went up to the other guys at the top. There's a Aberg drift coming. There's a wind coming, blowing back up.
That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience for the PGA Championship. If you missed the research show, that is already out on video and pod feeds on Mayo Media Network. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast as well. If you subscribe, rate and review 5 stars, and say something nice, you are in that draw for both of them. You get 5 ballots for Apple, 5 ballots for Spotify, so you may as well do both. All of the giveaway stuff is in the description of how to get in, but the main one is Underdog Fantasy, code MAYO. Get you a bonus of up to $250 on a first-time deposit. Plus, if you are a first-time player on Underdog Fantasy, you will get a free square at Underdog Fantasy on Thursday for the Pick'em game, and we will be doing extensive coverage on that. We might even do a bunch of Underdog stuff during the Cut Sweats live show in game for the PGA Championship, which will be an awful lot of fun. A way for me to try to win back some of my money when all these outrights are dead by the time that Friday afternoon comes along. So I hope that you will join us then. Smash the like. Newsletter coming out on Monday evening, so make sure you're subbed to that as well. I'll be back on Tuesday with Cam and Raza for the best bets. Wednesday with Tambo for all the finalization of the bets, the weather, and building DraftKings lineups and picks and tournament selection. Okay? I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!